until he takes possession of your life, you keep suffering. You keep having all the next problem, all the suffering that people are having upon the earth. So he came to be an example of the kind of a man that God intended to create. When he came, died, resurrected, he came back to the church. So he came and filled the believers. And do you know what? The disciples, Peter, James, and John, that people knew them as ordinary men, became extraordinary. Why? Because the Jesus that people cannot see any longer, they are now being seen in the person of the disciple, the Peter, the John, and the James. So that's why, that's why in Antioch they had no choice than to start calling these people Christians. They are behaving like Christ. They are thinking like Christ. So that's why we call them Christian, at least because the way they behave is like Christ. Why am I driving at? So you can understand that if we are celebrating the birth of Christ, let me tell you what we are celebrating. We are celebrating the fact that the God who created the heavens and the earth left his throne and came to the earth and came into man. You see, I'm celebrating my union with God.
Glory.
I tell people I'm not just ordinary. I tell people before I was just a man. But when Christ came into my life, I'm not just a man. I'm a Christ man. I'm a God man. So the things you go through, I don't go through. No, I'm not alone, because there is the God who created the heavens and the earth. Although he's in heaven, he's also in me. He's also with me. As we're in this studio, he's here. That's why he's speaking to you. And that's the greatest celebration. That's why we are celebrating. We are celebrating our union with him. We are celebrating the fact that we have become the men of God's dream. That man that God intended to create. When you are a believer, that man has become a reality. We are celebrating the fact that God has come to be with us. The day you were born again, God came again. The day you receive Christ into your life, Christ has come back to the earth. And that Christ is supposed to live his life through your life. That's why we are celebrating. We are celebrating our marriage with Christ. As a matter of fact, the day that Christ was born is our wedding anniversary, our marriage anniversary. And people celebrate their wedding anniversary. And that's what we are celebrating. Before, I was just alone. I was just a man. The day I was born again, Christ came to my life. I was married to Christ. So I am celebrating the day that I got married to Christ. I got in union with Christ. So it's no longer I that live. I tell people, that's what Apostle Paul said. Galatians chapter 2 verse 20, I'm crucified with Christ. It's no longer I that live. But what happened? Christ is the one living his life in me, because he came into my life. So it's no longer I that live, because it was not really Apostle Paul. How would you take somebody who is killing Christians the next day, and then the following day is the one changing the whole nation? How do you explain that? He's not the one living, my brother. And exactly that's what happened. So I don't care who you are listening to us. I don't care how you live your life. I don't care whether demons have infected your body and your temple. That house, that you see, you belongs to Jesus. You need to just open your heart and accept him. That's the purpose of this day we celebrate. You accept him, he comes into your life, and when he takes over your life, the sickness will go, the next problem will go. Remember when Jesus entered Jerusalem? When Jesus entered Jerusalem, he took Cain, he entered the temple, and you are the temple of God. And he took his cane and started beating the people who were. Why must you be disturbing? This is my house. My house is supposed to be the house of prayer for all nations. Why have you people turned this house into business? As a matter of fact, sicknesses were inside that house. So he took his cane and started beating the sickness out. So when Christ comes into your life, the first thing that happens in your life is clean up campaign. He will begin to clean the house to make sure, because that is where he's supposed to be. That's why we are celebrating. We are celebrating the fact that divinity invaded humanity. Thank you.